Hey, what's up, guys? It's Reed Young, aka Shuda here. I'm reviewing a middle stakes no limit hand. We're playing 510 at a 6 max table, but we are on the hijack. We raise, and only the cutoff calls us. We continuation bet a pretty awesome flop for us. It's low, disconnected. We have an excellent chance of getting multiple streets of value from worse hands than ours. Hands like sevens, fours, fives, sixes. Maybe some high card floats on the flop as well. So we continuation bet all as well. We get called. The turn is an ace, which is going to make it difficult for us to get a lot more value. But we continue to bet, which I think is a good play, at least most of the time with a hand like queens here, because you do want to be able to bluff this hand. And so, bluff this turn card, excuse me. And so to do that, you want to make sure that you're balancing your value range and your bluffing range here, which I think this poster has done very well. And he gets raised to 270, which is kind of a god-awful situation with a lot of our range, because we have to kind of weigh the pros and cons of facing such a raise, where so much of our range is going to be turned into a bluff catcher. And also the another like main idea to consider is we are just going to have a pure bluff on this turn a decent percentage of the time. So we don't want to be just folding every single, ace jack in our range or pocket queens in our range. So how do we decide how to continue against this range? That's the question. So I think the best way to do this is to start out with hands toward the top of our range. So after combinations like twos, threes, nines, 4, 5, and then ace 9, ace 3, ace 2 suited, after those are exhausted, if we still need more combinations of hands with which to continue in order to avoid being exploited, then we're going to start adding hands like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, and so on. So the reason I think this is a fold is because we're going to be value betting this turn fairly thinly, and although we'll have a lot of bluffs, we can certainly moderate them, so we're not going to just get annihilated every time we bet this turn. So every time you have jack 10, you don't need to go wild on an ace turn just because you think your opponent's going to fold. Especially when 4 or 5 gets there, I don't think that, just betting a bluff a ton of the time is a good play, especially against a good player. Against a weaker player, of course, you can use an exploitive range that's going to make him fold a hand like pocket eights every time. So I definitely couldn't blame you for trying to hero call here, because I think, it is a very strange line. It doesn't really make sense, because if we were bluffing, he would want us to continue with bluffs. But that said, if he wants to avoid being exploited with the hands like pocket eights, a nice way to do that, instead of calling and then trying to figure out what to do when we can value bet, pretty thinly on the river, and his range is somewhat face up on the river. A nice way to avoid that situation is to come in on the turn for a raise. So he's done that and put us to a difficult decision. But when you think about how many combinations of hands we have that we don't want to fold, if you just did top 2 pair and better, that's a lot of combinations. And to stack off that way, you would want to 3-bet some of them, and you want to flat some of them to encourage continued bluffing. If we represent that we have a hand like, 9-8 of clubs when we call the turn, maybe we induce some more bluffs on the river. If he does have a hand like pocket fours, he's turning into a bluff, which, this looks a lot like it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up with a big hand either. So when you're confused, when you're in doubt, you want to fall back on game theory, because the whole idea of using game theory is it helps you navigate spots like this where you don't know what to do. And so, we can go into the math another time in another video, probably one that I'm getting paid to make for you guys. So sorry for the tease there, but it's just too valuable information to give away. But I will, say that I probably laid out a pretty decent guide and some of the most important questions to ask yourself when you're trying to figure out how to deal with a spot like this. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you could share it with your poker buddy and hit that like button, it's really helping the channel grow. We're almost at 300 subscribers, and I'm going to do a special video for you guys. So I'll announce what that is on Twitter, and you guys can let me know what you think in the comments section. Take care, guys.